What would you imagine to be your design tool of your dreams? Hello and welcome to the AEC Tech Series. We're going to be looking into the latest tech projects within the AEC industry. So these are going to be projects that I think have the most potential within this space, as well as projects that will have a positive impact on the built environment and people's lives. Today we're going to be taking a look at Arcl. So what is Arcl and why am I excited about this project? Arcl just raised $3.6 million with one of their investors being a former CEO of Autodesk. One of the reasons why I think Arcl has a ton of potential is the problem statement is incredibly clear. Architects don't like using the software that they use every single day, and it's out of date. They simply have just not kept track with the latest developments in technology. And proof of this is the open letter to Autodesk. Architecture firms came together and had an open letter to Autodesk explaining the lack of development in their tools. So there is a clear problem there, and then with that, Arcl has a clear solution. Let's make a tool that architects love to use that you can easily collaborate in real time wherever you are in the world. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of people out there that do like using Revit and ArchiCAD, and they've made this program sing by investing a lot of time in learning the program, in understanding all of its intricacies, and taking advantage of it and using it for its best use. And there is a ton of untapped potential within Revit and ArchiCAD to expand its functionality. But you're missing a huge segment there. You're basically requiring a highly skilled level to be able to use Revit effectively, and that essentially shuts off principals and project managers who, as of right now, are not in Revit or using this tool. The idea that you could make an easy to use tool has more of an impact than you would initially think. This could actually enable principals and project managers and also project architects to collaborate in real time within a web browser and provide feedback visually. Okay, so that sounds all well and good, but do I think that this legitimately has a potential to replace Revit? And I actually don't think that's the correct narrative to think about this project. And I actually, when I was reading through their posts, and they have this sort of David versus Goliath story, Arcl versus Autodesk, and I don't think that's the best narrative to think about this project. I really think it's better to shift focus on the potentials of having a web-based app. Now, we talked about some of those benefits: seamless and real-time collaboration, usability, even sketch-based modeling where you could sketch and turn into a smart objects, so enhanced modeling techniques within a web app. But there are three other aspects that are just not being talked about that I think are essential and are really the true potential of a project like this. One of those being security, digital twin, digital smart city, and then the third one, connection of existing web-based apps. We'll talk about that one. The first one is security. If you think about it, a Revit file is not secure. All of your information that you've spent decades developing is in every single file that you create, whether a small project or large project. More and more clients are demanding a digital delivery along with that contract, to have a digital model of the project as part of the delivery. So you're exposing yourself not just to that digital file or digital twin of your project, but all the information that you've developed over years that you've put into that Revit file, families, graphic styles, so on and so forth, is in every single one of those files. More often than not, you're exposing yourself as a firm and as a practice. So this is an issue for both clients and architects. Now, with a web-based app like this, you could develop a more robust security system around your digital assets. You basically have one central location that only people have access that are allowed access to that digital location that is gated. Right now, a Revit file is not gated to a certain extent. It's kind of passed around and anyone can copy that and just open it up on their computer. Okay, the second one is a digital twin. Now, there's a lot of controversy about the usefulness of a digital twin, but the fact is we already have digital twins, digital cities. We already have smart cities to a certain extent. So it's really more shifting the conversation and focus to how will these roll out and be incorporated into more projects? And what would this look like in a web-based app environment? And this is what I think is incredibly exciting. So if you think about it, if you're in this web-based environment, it wouldn't be that far of a stretch to actually be designing in a digital replica of your location. So that could look like a metaverse to a certain extent, where you are actually in a digital replication of your city or project, and you could design within that environment. Now, that sounds pretty cool, right? What's really useful about that is the fact that you can now layer in additional data, real-time data, based on that location. So GIS data, local climate conditions. There is a ton of additional information you can overlay when designing directly in this metaverse environment. Then once you've made that design and then delivered that digital asset to your client that they can now use, now this project has been built and there can be a true connection between the digital and the physical, and there can be feedback between those projects. So for instance, you could have sensors within your project that could do a number of things. Some of those sensors could be for the building operations, so you could control specific building operations through the digital model. And also you can get user feedback through sensors, results of your design, and really understand what you said is actually what happened. Similarly, if you run an energy simulation, how did the original energy simulation compare to the real building's performance? And you could start to track that. And what's kind of intriguing about that concept is then it's connected to the digital city or smart city, where you can really start to understand your project in a larger context. Okay, so then the third aspect is somewhat related, which is we already have a whole suite of web apps that provide data for your project. So whether that's an energy analysis, climate, or programming, or code analysis, there's all these web apps out there that could feed into your, in this case, an ARCOL project. And so we're going to start to see more and more robustness of these web apps, and it's going to be a lot easier to integrate a web app with one another than it is sort of a desktop app that have these one-off plugins for that application. So that's really what I think are some of the major advantages. Let me know what you think with this type of project. Do you think it has a chance of succeeding? Or what kind of feedback would you have for this project? And what would you imagine to be your design tool of your dreams? Cool. Well, have a good day, and I hope I see you soon.